Welcome, everyone, to Embrace Your Crown. I am Dr. Crystal Lee, and I am excited to have you here today. Thank you for being early, on time, and just ready to get things going, get things started. I am excited. Because this is a new month, it is June. And if you know anything about what's going on right now, I'm sure a lot of us are bumping into different things in life and in our business that we are looking for, just some guidance, not, I don't know if the right word is reassurance, but definitely some encouragement to make it through. And so I wanted to come to you today to just help you through some of the things that I've been going through as well. I mean, I'm a business owner like all of you, and there is a lot of things that I'm going through that I like to just share just to keep you encouraged, to let you know you're not alone. I know sometimes we can feel like we are, and that maybe no one else can identify with what we are going through. And I want to encourage you that there are many that are going through different things. And today we are going to talk about some of the things that I've heard from some of my clients or just people in general. That's like, hey, Crystal, show me, some answers that I'm, looking for. And I wanted to be faithful and doing that on today. So, if you are new to Embrace Your Crown, again, thank you for tuning in and welcome. Today's show is called Halfway There. Where are we now? I know sometimes we can feel like we're everywhere than where we may need to be. And so today's show is in dedication to you. And let's go ahead and show you a little bit more about Embrace Your Crown. So, Embrace Your Crown was a concept that I ultimately created because I wanted to inspire and encourage business owners. And one of the ways that I wanted to do that was to meet with you monthly. I know there's a lot of things going on in our lives between children, friends, family, business, and sometimes you just need to know that, hey, look, Crystal, I'm not the only one that's trying to figure out technology or add new things to the mix, or just be on time, be consistent, remain constant, with things that matter to us. And so I wanted to encourage you today by honestly just showing you some of the things that I have been learning and that I believe is going to bless your life. Right now, I am in the midst of redecorating my office. And so you are definitely catching me in the in between phase. So apologies for like shipping and all kinds of stuff going on. It's been a very busy month in the month of May, and now we are moving into the month of June. So many of you are going into summer, your children are transitioning from one grade to another. And so I just want to commend you for being there for your little people, as they're transitioning, growing, and doing greater and greater things. And I am sure if you don't know this already, that you are doing an amazing job. And I want to encourage you to just keep going forward. Okay. So, Embrace Your Crown is all about that. It's all about encouraging you and showing you that you're not crazy. You're not the only one that has a big dream. And honestly, you should not give up on this dream. I know the world will tell you you're crazy sometimes. And I just want to let you know it's okay to be a little crazy, meaning to think outside the box and want to do something no one else has done that might be intimidating and might scare you. And in my first book of the Embrace Your Crown series, it's called Open Seven Gates to Find and Overcome Heartbreak. Because what I found is that many of us, I would say all of us, have had people in our lives that in one way or another have broken our hearts. And breaking our hearts doesn't have to be romantic, right? It could be you thinking someone's going to tell you, yes, great job, and instead they didn't. It could be people telling you that they're going to show up and they never do. It could be people telling you that, oh, you know what? I know I've been trying to get to your office. I've just been so busy. I mean, it's like they're busy to do everything but what you may be asking them for. So then you may come up with the idea, well, maybe it's not the right time, or maybe I was crazy, or maybe I missed the mark somehow. And so I want to encourage you that you haven't, and that as you continue to go through life, you're going to find that this is all part of the master's plan. Not that his plan that you suffer and all this other crazy stuff, but that we learn and we overcome so that we will be that much wiser, that much brighter. And when people, question us and think we can't do something, even when we think we can't do something for ourselves, we learn that through our heartbreak, we can overcome it. And when we do, that's when we start to get to what I consider the space of infinite possibilities, you know? And when you enter this realm where, okay, I know that I can get past my past. I know what may have kind of tripped me up a little bit. Maybe I was discouraged, but now I'm not discouraged anymore. I'm pretty encouraged or empowered. But maybe your belief system is still a little whack. Maybe you still believe you need magic to change your life. But the truth is, we don't need magic, we need power. So, in my very first book, or second book, in this series, I talk about power and how you don't need magic to change your life. Ultimately, you need power. And that power is going to come from the Almighty God and nobody else. So, if right now in your life you're thinking, oh my goodness, Crystal, can somebody just send Cinderella's grandma over here and let her Willy Wella? That's not going to happen. But what you do need is power. And the Father is more than able and capable of giving you power. But in order to access the power of God, you have to be in the presence of God. And so in that book, I break down, just some of the basic things you want to know about what you're believing, what you're taking in, what is making sense for you, and as you start to walk into these things, that's when you're going to start recognizing ultimately how all of these things feed into your life. And then the third book in the series is Sharpen Your Focus. And I created this one because we have to know when we have a good thing. And when you have a good thing, it's so important that you don't belittle it or let people put limiters on it, like, oh, your little business, and little quirky or, slick, maybe even sly things that people say. Those things may not feel like they hold a whole lot of weight in the moment, but if we are continuously repeating those words in our hearts or in our minds, it can take root and do something pretty catastrophic. I'm going to talk more about that in today's or this month's message. So hang around. You're going to have more for that. Again, if you want to join First Sundays, you can go to embraceyourcrown.com and you can do more with that. So I'm going to be mentioning that quite a bit throughout this, just so if you want to connect, you'll know where to go and all that good stuff. So check out the QR codes and things like that as they pop up. And they'll also be in your chat boxes. If you do want to communicate on the live, feel free to submit your messages, and I would love to reply back to them as long as I see them. And yeah, we'll keep going like that. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the history of Embrace Your Crown, a little bit about myself, not too much. I'm going to talk to you too about what royals essentially are, kings and queens. I'm going to talk about the conversation check-in, and after that we'll give a nod to some sponsors, and then I'll let you go for the rest of the month. I'm sure you are going to enjoy today. Today is going to be a great day. All right. So so I talked a little bit already about Embrace Your Crown. I kind of did that before I got to the slide. So I can go through this part pretty quick. So in this book, The Seven Gates, these are the seven gates that I talk about. Time is the first one, which is we cannot live backwards. I know sometimes we may want to reverse or change things we did in our past. I'm going to let you know right now. Can't do it. You can't go backwards. All you can do is look forward and see how the Father can redeem your time. When He redeems time, He's not going back into your past, He's going into your future to help you accelerate. So once you realize, okay, I can't fix back there, but I can learn from back there so that I can do better going forward, it's going to empower you and help you to leap ahead. Ultimately, looking at your purpose, you were born on purpose, all right? I have a saying that you were born on purpose, with the purpose, for a purpose. The question is, will you live out your purpose? And there's quite a bit in that chapter about purpose because this is what gives us our anchor in life. So if you feel like you're floating around and don't really know which way is up, everything is kind of topsy turvy, it might be that you're completely out of your purpose, which is why everything feels wrong. So if that's the case, I definitely want you to check into this book. Next, I talk about patience. I know a lot of people are like, you need more patience, you need more patience. Mm, yeah, maybe. But I think a lot of us have too much patience for negative things, meaning things that don't put us on the right tracks or that discourage us or disconnects us from where we should be going or want to do stuff like that. So in that book, I dedicate it to patience, but there's a couple of other twists and turns in there that I think is helpful for you to take a look at because you may be stagnant because you're too patient in certain areas when you really need to hit up your cutoff game. All right. And then we get to your patterns. Patterns are just things that you do habitually out of I wouldn't say nature, but it's something you do naturally because it was something you may have been conditioned to do early on that you don't even realize is necessarily a pattern. But if you don't look at your patterns, then you won't really understand like how you get to your lifestyle and some of these other things. All of these bubbles interconnect. So if you read this book out of order or indifferent, it won't matter. Because the way the book is written, you can connect with whatever needs to be connected with for you. Your wants and desires. Some of us want stuff that we don't believe we deserve or can have. So our wants and desires could also be to negative associations. So we can want bad relationships and we find ourselves in the same relationship over and over and over again, just with different faces. So if you're finding that pattern and that those wants and desires keep manifesting, you got to change what you want and what you desire. Likewise, if you want to work for yourself, then you got to want to be independent or interdependent, as I like to say. You want to be able to be consistent and build up a system that will help you to remain consistent. Because without that, you kind of float around and you really don't accomplish anything. You may feel the freedom of working for yourself, but you don't have any of the results. So you don't want to just be a I hate to say it this way, but a broke entrepreneur forever. I mean, there is a phase for anything and everything, but you don't want it to be you don't want that to be the pattern, right? So then you got to look at your atmosphere. Are you in an atmosphere that allows you to be productive? Are you trying to work in the midst of chaos? At one point I had to move because it was just too much going on around me. I couldn't focus. I had no space. And people will say, well, you need a room all to your office. Yes. As a writer, I need it. You may need it. You may not need a big office, brick and mortar, but you may want a virtual space, right? So you can get away for an hour, two couple hours, and just work, right? In peace, not worried about children running or some of the things that distract us from giving quality time. We can be on a computer all day, but our minds are split because we see TVs, here's this and that, and every people asking you mommy questions or what have you. And so when you're in these atmospheres, it may not be as conducive to be productive. And then lastly, your lifestyle is built from all of these things, right? People might say, well, that's just not me, or this is who I am. Those things come out of how you spent your time, what you thought your purpose is, how you're dealing with patients, patterns, wants, and desires, and what is your current atmosphere. Because if you take someone from certain areas and put them in a new area, their lifestyle can readapt to where their new atmosphere is. So sometimes you just need to get around good networking groups, good people to help you push into what you're really wanting to do or what you're called to do. Okay. And then ultimately we get to the book on beliefs. I'm not going to talk too much about this one, but I will go over the five gates, which is make room for miracles. Again, you don't need magic. You need to have the confidence to make room for miracles, which are bred out of obedience, right? Out of consistency. When you make room for miracles, it's because you never gave up on some things. You kept believing in them, you kept pursuing them. When that door closed, you looked for another one. You allow the Father to use no's to redirect you. I'm going to talk more about that today, too. The next one is know the promise. If you don't know what the promises are for you, for your life, then when things come to challenge you on what you should and shouldn't have, you won't have an answer because you'll say, well, oh, I don't know if I deserve that. Or I don't know if that's for me. Oh, I don't know. It'll give you a lot of I don't knows. And some of those are justified I don't knows. We don't know everything. But the good thing is, we know that the Father knows all things and He'll make them all work to our good, even our mistakes. So don't be afraid to make mistakes either. I want you to dare to dream because when your dreams are too small, your results are going to be lackluster. They're not going to really show you the power of God. And, as believers, we want to see it. But as humans, we want to see incredible things. We love seeing athletes defy scores and people do incredible things that we never thought was possible. And you could be one of those people too. These people bleed like you, talk, walk like you. Some of them don't even have legs. I mean, so it's like, it's so many excuses we give ourselves. We'll talk about that today. No more excuses, ladies and gentlemen. And then next one, you got to kick negativity. I know we probably have heard this from every kind of coach, sports coach, life coach, pastors, friends, but it's amazing that we can hear it habitually and still not practice it. Okay. So in this chapter, I dedicated to how do you kick negativity? How do you identify what's negative? Because sometimes we can say, oh, I'm being realistic. But no, you're actually being negative. You just don't realize it is negative because you're so, you have a pattern of speaking a certain kind of way or thinking, living, and stuff like that. And if you have that, you have some problems, and it's gonna come up faster than you think. Hey Jacob, how you doing? Yes, this is the season of no more excuses. So I know people have said, "Oh, I'm gonna do that next year." Why? Why wait all the way until next year to do something you could do right now? People will say, "Oh, well, it's gonna take me a long time." That's fine. Start today. Well, what if I start tomorrow? What if you don't start tomorrow and you start today? You see what I'm saying? So the more that we give ourselves excuses and escapes, our body will take it. And I'm guilty of it with the gym, y'all. I ain't even gonna lie. I need to go to the gym. I've been saying that, but I haven't been doing it like I need to. So I'm gonna go tonight. Y'all hold me accountable. And the last thing is take courage and work. If you want to achieve weight loss goals, business goals, relationship goals, family goals, parenting goals, you're not gonna get to those goals until you take courage and you do the work. It takes courage to do the work because you don't see no results yet, right? People will say, "Oh, I don't see this happening. I don't see that happening." So I'm not even going to worry about it. But if you never worry about it, if you don't work towards something, you'll never have anything, which is why I encourage you to start working today, even if it's a mess right now. Focus on organizing. Maybe that's all you do today. Most people get intimidated because they look at these big things that they're trying to accomplish. Break them down. Okay, you know what? I'm just going to plan my first chapter. I'm not going to worry about the end and the middle and all this other stuff. Just where I'm at. And I agree with you, Jacob. Why wait? Tomorrow is not even promised. So start living now and don't wait to live tomorrow because some people's tomorrows will not come. And so, Lord's willing, yours is here. Take advantage of it. The next one is sharpen your focus. This book only has three gates because you've already gotten through the other ones. Those are really, really going to get you set on the right path. So, here we're going to focus on three things. The first one is actually at the bottom. So, you're going to adjust your focus. If you feel like, oh my gosh, I am scatterbrained, or I had it going, it was working, but now it's not working like you used to, you probably got to readjust your focus. If your motivation is in the garbage and now you don't even feel like what you were doing was even necessary, you're questioning it, it's probably because you're on the cusp of something great. When the enemy sees you're making tremendous progress, he's going to try to cut you off before the finish line. So you got to adjust your focus, adjust your why, because maybe your why was too small. And when your why is too small, when you reach that goal, you might dismiss everything else after it. But it's because you were looking at your goal and maybe not as far as the Father saw for you, or as far as you may be able to go. So don't cut your legs off, because you're like, oh, I'm comfortable. I did enough. People can see me. I tried. They know it. So go for it. Yeah, you do everything little by little. So don't overwhelm yourself. Remember what you did before, right? When you remember what you did before, It's going to help you understand how you got to where you got to. You know, when you remember the people that helped you, when you remember the moves you make, when you remember the sacrifices you had to do, when you remember these things, it makes you grateful for where you are. It makes you clear your mind for where you are, because relaxed people are more profitable, more productive than those that are stressed out. I'm going to show you how not to do that in today's message, because you gotta relax. So how do you relax? I got you. The last thing in this book I want to mention, though, is you got to put it all on the table. The Father wants you to give it all to Him. I know sometimes we might say, Lord, change everything, but I'm going to leave these three things for me. I got these. I'm going to work on my children, or I'm going to work on myself, or I'm going to work on my husband or my wife, or whatever you got going on. And you realize that ain't working. You got to put it all on His table, all at the altar, right? And let Him work some of these things out. Prayer changes everything. I know people will say, "Oh, they'll never change," or "I'll never change," or "I can't change," or "This is who I am." But when you put it all on the table, which is what the Father wants from you, that's when you're essentially going to sharpen your focus, and you're going to sharpen your productivity, your profitability. All these things work. He says, "May you prosper as your soul prospers," which is your mind, will, and emotions. So as your mind, will, and emotions come into alignment, then the rest of your life will too, because that's who, that's what the Father wants. He wants your soul, right? He wants you. And so this is what you have to give for Him to have you. And when you put it all on the table, He won't fail. That's what I'm talking about today too. Ain't that amazing? All right, let me see what Jacob said. He says, "Wow, I love the outline of that. Adjust your focus, remember what you did before, and put it all on the table." That is the third book in the series. So in case you have not gotten any of these books yet, I'm going to throw up the QR code. You can get all three of these books as a bundle, save $15, or buy the one you want to start with. And I would love to get you in the conversation. Okay. Every month is dedicated to these powerful messages. So trust and believe. None of them is a bad place to start. People ask me all the time, should I start with this one or this one? I say, honey, read the back of the books, which is on the website also, and then pick the one that identifies with what the Father has for you, and He'll tell you, yep, you need it, and go ahead and check out. And you can get digital or physical copies of the books too. Okay, so a little bit about me. I'm a business owner, I'm a consultant. I've authored over 42 books right now. I have up to 50 that will be released. Not 50 new ones, but I'll be at 50 books this year. That's the goal. I do help new authors, coaches, and business owners alike to find their passion, organize and launch their businesses, publish books, and live on purpose. I'll talk a little bit more about that towards the end. So, yeah, I got you. So, if you're trying to do any of those things, stick around. You won't be disappointed. Next, I want to show you about essentially who is coming to this group, because you might be like, okay, Crystal, who's all in this room? One, we have kingdom builders. Kingdom builders are essentially people that run organizations. These are CEOs, these are entrepreneurs. These are pastors. These are people that are leading other people. Okay, so if that's you, welcome to the room. Or as I would say, my royal table. For my royals, these are my managers. These are mothers, fathers that are managing their homes and great at it and love doing it. Welcome to the table. My knights, these are the intercessory prayer warriors, the people that are always looking out for other people. These are your compassionate souls that will come to this every month just to give it to somebody else, the knowledge. This is for you, because you need to be filled back up. If you don't get filled back up, you're going to be burnt out, tapped out, and you won't be good, not only for yourself, but for also what the Father has for you to do. So, welcome to the table. And then there are specially invited guests. These are guests that are still kind of like figuring out where they are in life, what they may want to do. They might be at a new place where they might have gotten laid off or disconnected, evicted. I've been through all those things, by the way. And so I also know the other side, where the Father elevates you, where you can make more money, where you can buy houses and rent and, pray about a thing and it happens. And it ain't taking 20 and 30 years. I could talk to you more about that. So that's what you're going to find out in this group, is the evidence of what I'm talking about with this series. I mean, anybody can come on here and give you some eloquent words, but show me the fruit, as the Bible says. Show me the fruits of your labor, and then I can listen to you. But if you just got really good stuff to say, I don't know if that stuff is going to work. And even if it worked for you, there's no guarantee it's going to work for me. So I need you to help me become a better person so I can achieve what the Father has for me. And that's what I want to do for you with this group. I want to show you how to use what the Father showed me to do to bless you, to bless your family, bless your business, bless your purpose, and motivate you. Okay. And I believe this group is going to do that. So, again, reminding you back to today's conversation, we're halfway there. Where are we now? Essentially, is what we are talking about in this month. And I want to talk to you because many of you have already started your businesses, or you've already started writing your book. You've already started, preparing yourself for marriage. You already started buying the clothes to go to the gym. You're already there, right? So you're at the door or you're in the door, but you're still trying to figure it out. Maybe you got your licenses, but you didn't get incorporated, or you didn't do the subsequent next steps to move you to the next phase in your journey, no matter which way it's going. And today's message is all about helping you to get from where you are to where you need to get to next. Okay. So this is big picture, yes, but it's also going to zero in to where you are right now. Okay. So the first thing I want to ask you is, you got a dream and you started playing with the idea of walking in your vision. Likely you've already been told, through prophetic people or through other ideas, how great you are, how wonderful you are. And now you're considering, okay, what do I do now? And so now is the time where you're ultimately going to have to learn to embrace your crown. You're going to have to embrace where you are, and where you are is going to help you get to where you want to be. But at the same time, you got to realize where you are right now, right? Sometimes we look at people that are 50 years ahead of us and we're like, oh, I want to be that person. But the truth is, they're 50 years ahead of you. Don't mean you can't catch up though, because this is the redemption, the acceleration that Yah God gives. He allows us to be who we are, and where we are and how we elevate is up to Him. This is where supernatural comes into play, because you can do natural things and the Father can add super to it. And now it's beyond the scope of what would have been naturally thought to be, possible. So then what do you do? What have you already started to do? Have you written the plan down? Did you seek wise counsel? Have you started researching what you don't know? Any business, you're going to have to research what you don't know. You're going to have to reach out to someone who can help you. You're going to have to talk to somebody who can show you a way that they've done it, or that they've helped others to do it. And you want to look at the evidence. People are going to come to you with all kinds of game. Like, oh, yeah, I can show you. That's so easy. Okay, it's so easy. You show me yours. And when you look in their lives, you're looking for this, and you should. And when you don't see it, take it with a grain of salt. It doesn't mean you got to totally chuck it. It does mean you need to not accept everything as truth, because not everything that is said is truthful, and not everything that's being said is meant to build you up. Some things are meant to tear you down. So you got to be, even the word says, rightfully divide the word of truth. So it might be truthful, but are they coming out of a malicious spirit? Are they coming to tear you down instead of build you up? Are they really coming out of a place of love and peace and all this stuff? Or are they really a snake in the grass? And you need to figure that out real quick, because there's a good reason why people in your life. I tell my children all the time, it's a reason, a season, a lesson, or a lifetime. Figure out which one it is. And once you know what it is, let it be. Sometimes we're trying to force round pegs into square holes. It just don't work. Hey Bruce, how you doing? Appreciate you tapping in on YouTube. Yes. So it says, have you met an obstacle yet in the process? Is it the money that you need or you want to make? Is it the time you have or the time people won't give? Is the talents that you need to have, or the talent you may need to emulate that you maybe don't have all the way? Maybe it's stuff you're still learning. Are there ideas that you haven't quite fleshed out already? Maybe your outline wasn't the greatest, so you kind of started behind the curveball. Maybe your support is absent. People tell you they're going to come out and support and they don't show up. Or is it something else? I mean, when you start a business or do something new, there is a plethora of things that could go hayward. And they can go hayward or wayward real fast. So I want to encourage you today with what we're going to talk about. Next question is, how are you dealing with all this stuff? Because it impacts our spirit, right? When we see things going right or wrong, it is not a game. It's real. Like, this is our lives. So when people say stuff like, oh, you're a cute little business, or when people get mad, at a flyer you made, or, some of the simplest things that could just blow up into something so great because people's passion is in this. We have to take ourselves seriously. And so sometimes people might say, well, why are you so bothered by that? Because this is what I'm building. They don't see the end, they see your beginning. They're like, oh, your little business don't, you ain't got to be all that rigid. Why you so on time? Ain't nobody else there. You talking to nobody. That's okay, because when everybody comes, I'm already going to have what? A consistent nature. So when no one's looking, still be consistent, still do what's right, still fight for what you know is your vision, even when you don't see the people yet, because they will come. No doubt. Appreciate you, Bruce. And then the next one is, are you confident, scared, unmotivated, or unfocused? When you are unmotivated or unfocused, I'm going to show you what is likely behind that lack of motivation or focus, because there is a power behind those thoughts. Okay. And then another question is, how can you power through it? Right. So that's what I'm going to show you. Let's see. Woo, I'm excited. How many of y'all excited? Y'all liking this so far? Y'all can put that in the comments. So the first one is, how big is your dream? What has already been done, which is what we talked about. And I want to get you to see your mental picture, right? So what do you know you are called to do or feel led to do now? I mean, doing these mental check-ins and getting the big picture, it helps you to honestly not get distracted or fall for decoys, because there's a lot of them. um, Embracing your crown is about being in the presence, and taking life on day at a time. So if you are like, oh my goodness, I don't know, I feel overwhelmed, slow down. Remember, today is not forever. As they say, Rome wasn't built in a day. It took days, it took years. It even took David like 40 years to have the whole kingdom of Israel under his command. So chill, relax. It's gonna be okay. The whole thing is do something every day, and in a month you'll see your progress. You will have 30 completed tasks to your dream. So when you start looking at stuff from a bigger picture, it will ease some of your stress, right? Consider what you have tried or already doing and how that can work in your favor to help you excel in other areas. Some of you are successful at raising children. You raise outstanding children. And because you can raise children, you can deal with difficult times, you can deal with teenagers. That is not a game. You can deal with any adult. If you can deal with a transforming teenager that one day loves you, the next day acts as if they're going to cuss you out or want to fight you, and you're able to bring them back to center, and they can trust you even with all these friends and social media and the internet and all that stuff going on. I commend parents that have done this, and I would tell you, in business you can do it, because if you can do that, you can do it. Like people say, if you can birth a baby, honey, with labor pains, you good. You can go through a lot more than what you think you could go through. You can go through people telling you you're not going to make it, because guess what? You birthed a baby that people said probably wasn't going to be here or wasn't going to amount to nothing. And look at God. Look at you though. Look at what you've been able to accomplish. So don't belittle your accomplishments because other people may not see the value in them. You got to know what you're valuable, or how to value yourself, right? Hey, now, I appreciate that, Bruce. No doubt. I do. And so you got to get to the question of, don't hate humble beginnings. And I had to share something from Isaiah 40 with y'all, because y'all know I got to give y'all some word, because word for me is stability. In Isaiah 40, verses 21 through 31, we're going to go through here. But I encourage you to read the whole thing because it's all power. But in verses 21 through 23, it says this: Do you not know? Do you not hear? Notice it didn't say, did you hear? It says, do you not hear? That means this is still being spoken live. If you want to get on a live stream with Yah or with God, this is a live stream, meaning this was written centuries ago. It's still on because he says, do you not hear it? That's active. That's right now. So this is still a right now word for you. Has it not been told to you from the beginning? Have you not understood from the foundations of the earth? It is he who sits above the circle of the earth, and its inhabitants are like grasshoppers. We're like grasshoppers, y'all. To how far, to how high, to how magnificent, to how powerful he really is, right? Who stretches out the heavens like a curtain and spreads them like a tent to dwell in, who brings princesses and princess royalty to nothing. Have y'all seen kingdoms that fail? People will say, oh, Rome was too big to fail. It failed. Greece was too big to fail. It failed. Egypt, too big to failed. Assyrians failed. Babylonians failed. I can keep going because there's still more that is what is going to fail. The father says this is going to happen until he come back. So when you feel like, oh, this country's against me, oh, these laws are against me, oh, life is against me, oh, we're marginalized, oh, this, slaves felt that way, before the Emancipation Proclamation. Yes, it didn't eradicate all the evidences of slavery, but it sure enough got me and you out of bondage. It sure enough got me and you out of chains. Yes, the prison industrial complex is very real, but at the same time, there's an answer for that too. The question is, are we going to do the work like those who did the work for us to get here to get them there? Right. So there is still more to do, which is very true. But the question is, have you realized where you have come from? Have you realized what the Father was able to do? I want to show y'all some things too, because oh my goodness, it's so exciting what the Father is able to do. I mean, anytime you can transcend like total obvious in your face bondage and you can make it out unscathed, you can't tell me there ain't no God. You can't tell me Harriet Tubman didn't know God. I mean, this woman retired her parents in slavery. Okay, when I read that, I was like, well, that's deep. You know what I'm saying? A couple of years after slavery, Marcus Garvey flew from Jamaica to the United States. How many of us born in America cannot go to Jamaica now? We got passport access, money access, income tax season. We still haven't left the country. Many of us haven't left our blocks yet. Many of us haven't left our cities yet. Many of us haven't impacted our communities yet because we ain't been outside. We focus on our households and that's it. This is where you want to learn what you want to see. The kingdom of God is bigger than your house, than your school, than your community, than your job, than your business. But you can be a part of what he's doing that is bigger than all of this by being what he called you to be and living in your purpose, on purpose, for purpose. And that will transcend the marginalization. So when you look at, oh, this is out here, this is out here, you're right. But guess what? When you're doing the things that make you who you are, the things that he put in you, when you're putting them on earth, now you're expanding the kingdom of God. And yes, you can't see all the ripples you have in society or that you will have in life. You might not see somebody come to Christ when you witness to them. That's okay because you can plant a seed that will then be watered by somebody else. You can start a business that will give somebody a service or a product and it'll lead them to somewhere else. And that's what life is all about. I know people who ask the question, well, what really is life all about? And life isn't as complicated as we think. It's very simple, and when you see how simple it is, you question, is this really what life is? Because it sounds simple. But the truth is, the Father is that good that He can show us a multitude of things. And we don't have to be, I guess, intimidated by how big he is or how big life can become in the essence of what we can see ourselves achieving. But a lot of it is the same. All of us want to have peace. All of us want to be healthy. All of us want to see our children laugh and smile and have fun things to do and love and be loved. Like this is normal, so it's nothing outside of the box. But the question is, will we do the work to obtain what we're believing in? And that's where sometimes the results can be a little flaky. Sometimes we give the right things, but we're accepting the wrong people. So we got to look at what we're willing to accept too. The next one is, what is it that you do now that you do not know, but be reminded of the power of God. You see, when we cannot accomplish something in our own strength, we have to look at where our roots are, right? And who is the true vine, which is what he calls himself in the word. Have you ever considered how powerful we are in the presence of God? All things are possible, the word says, through Christ who lives in us and strengthens us. He is a sustaining power. And who is the word? The Messiah, Jesus the Christ. He is the living word. He is the manifested word of God made into flesh. So we're talking about the word of the Most High. What can it do in your life? What can the presence of the word and the following of that word do in your life? The short answer, transform it all. He can change it all. Do you want to be made whole? Do you want me to fix it? If you want him to fix it, you have to take his word in exchange for your words, in exchange for your thoughts, and what? Make them higher. You have to exchange what you have been giving and let live off you. You know that some vines are considered like a pestilence because they rip from a tree? So being the true vine is a very divine concept because the world will tell you it's feeding off of you and all these things, but it's not feeding off of you to empower you. It's feeding off of you to rip you of your resources, which is why trees can die with vines wrapped around it because the vine isn't there to empower the tree, but the opposite. But the true vine right, is a giver. It brings grapes, it brings good fruit, it brings good things, it brings power, it brings rejuvenation, it brings us to a place where we can relax because we are able to release, some of our frustrations and disappointments because we are no longer believing in these things to be our only means or our only options, right? So, how many of us are allowing ideas, frustration, disappointment, and other lies to masquerade as truth in our lives? These things, these facts, try to masquerade as truth, but I'm going to show you. I wrote a book called Over the Fact. And in that book, I deal with how essentially facts are facts, yes, but facts are created in atmospheres and environments, which could actually not be the truth, but it is a manifested fact. Right. So if you put somebody in a controlled environment, then you can control the facts because you're controlling the environment to lead them to those facts. But that doesn't make those facts truthful because when you get behind the facts and realize how the facts became facts, you realize this ain't a fact at all. This is a manipulation of people. This is a manipulation of history. This is a manipulation of information. This is some ways is even lies, right? So some statistical data is untruthful, but people say it's a fact. But it was based on the wrong things or wrong people groups or not a broad enough subject matter, right? And we can take that information and apply it to our business or apply it to our hearts or our weight and say we got to be this weight. But that wasn't even from a source that included your bone density. So some of the things you need is not in that fact. So that's why you got to have the truth and not just facts. If you try to think logically on why you have done little, are scared, or slowing down, you cannot deny that it is something strange holding you back. Some people will say, oh, the reason why I'm not doing this is because I don't have the money. Is that really true though? If you think about it, people say, "Yeah, I'm broke." You broke now, but were you broke when you got your income tax? Are you broke when you get paid? What are you doing with your money? What are you doing with your planning? How are you investing your time? How are you investing your thoughts? Are you constantly spending your time on things that are not profitable? All things are permissible, but they're not all profitable. They don't always lead to where you want to go. So, what are you doing? Right? We might say we don't got money, but I'm looking at Marcus Garvey that in the midst 5 years, a decade after slavery, this man getting on airplane or getting on a ship and coming to America. How, Sway? How you do that? We can, you know what I'm saying? Some of us can't get a car to go in our own city. And this is not shade. There was a moment I rode the bus too. But what I'm showing you is these are just excuses. These are only excuses because there are people that have been able to do it. Now, can you do what everybody else is doing? No. But the question is, are you doing everything you can do? And if that answer is no, be honest, then I want to challenge you to do more. That's all I'm saying. It's not really money because with the right yes, it can be done, right? Sometimes it's about not asking enough people. We might ask our immediate family and then we stop. Hey, I asked my mom, I asked my dad, they said they won't help me. Okay. Did you ask this organization? No, I didn't want to bother them. Why not? You need to bother some people. You need help. When you need help, you need to keep going. People might say, well, I'm just burning my energy. Maybe. But if you had to get 50 no's to get to a yes, and what that yes could do for you, would you say it's worth it? If I had to call 2,500 people, to get to my nucleus of people that would tell me yes, it can make you a millionaire. It can make you a 100,000aire. It can make you successful. It can show you fundamental truth and power about you. Consistency will do a lot for you. It will do a whole lot for you. So Isaiah 40:24 says this: scarcely are they planted, scarcely sown, scarcely has their stem taken root in the earth, when he blows on them and they wither, and the tempest carries them off like a stubble. Sometimes people say stuff to you that's like in the midst, right? They're not thinking about what they're saying, they're not weighing you. Have you ever tried to get a meeting with an important person? Like a person that you really want is important to you. And so you're like, hey, if you just give me 10 minutes. And before they even get a chance to meet you, they say, I'm not interested. And you're like, wait, I didn't even get a chance to tell you what I was trying to tell you. And they're like, yeah, I know, but I know what you're going to say and I'm not interested. Or I don't care what you're about to say. I already got what I got and I don't want to listen to you. These people are like this. They scarcely planted in you. They scarcely sown anything. What they said in you also should not be something that takes root, and really it doesn't. What really makes us basically allow negative words or people to cut us down and shift our focus is when we replay these thoughts in our own heads. It's your power that's giving these words power. It's not the words that they said, it's the words you believe. So if you say, oh man, you know what? They said what I thought, or they said how I feel, or they said what I was thinking, it's got to be true. Everybody must see what I'm saying, or everybody must what? See how I feel, right? And when things like this happen, it's not their words that gave power, it's you. It's the power that the Father gave to humanity. He says your words what? Carry life, carry death. It carries the power to transform your life and everything around you. Your words do. So if your words have that much more has that much power, when you connect and latch on to what other people are saying about you, especially those that ain't even put nothing in you, but you're rehashing them, and these things can what? Be blown away like stubble if you allow them to be exposed to the word of God. Because the word of God will what? Send these things packing. The word of God will send devils fleeing, because the Bible says resist the devil and he will flee from you, right? Because the enemy is firing fiery darts at us all the time. He wants us to believe we're nothing. He wants to believe we came from nothing, we'll have nothing, like our parents, like our mom, like someone told us, like how we feel, like how the world says, like how the government says, how this say, and statistics say, facts say. Everything that it can throw at you is throwing at you, right? So, in order to overcome stuff like this, you got to know the power of God. You got to know the power of the word, because then it will tip what? The power of the word will shape your mind. It'll shape how you see things, how you feel about yourself and the world around you. So when these darts are fired at you, they won't land. They'll blow away like stubble. It'll be like dead grass. You'll be like, oh, whatever. I don't even know you. I don't care what you got to say. You don't know me. You don't know what I'm capable of. And if you're not able to see what I'm about to do, that's fine. It must not be you. When you get to that point, now you're about to make some progress. Because when people tell you no, you're going to say, okay, Lord, they said no. But then you got to ask yourself this question. Hold on, y'all. I'm going to bring y'all to the next one because this one good. It's about to be good, right? So, fearing the no in business and in life, you will hear a no. You're going to get a lot of no's, right? Sometimes we get too many no's, but that's okay, because no is unavoidable. No's don't have to be from the devil if we choose to see them as divine protection and direction from Yah. If you get no's, when I get no's, I'm like, okay, Lord, what's going on? Because you told me to do this. You said, okay, Crystal, go. This ain't working. They said no. So where do you want me to go? You know what I'm saying? Even when people tell me yes, I'm like, Lord, they said yes, but how do you feel about this yes? Is this where you want me to be? Is this where you're sending me? And if that door closes shortly after that, it's happened a lot. Uh, then I know that this is not where he wants my business to go. And I'm not sad when certain things don't happen, because I know that wasn't the door he wanted me or them to go through. Maybe they needed to go somewhere else. Maybe they had someone that could better identify. It doesn't have to be a devil thing, because people go a different direction for business or life or whatever. But it just may mean that I'm not the person that they need in their life, especially right now. Knows or the direction that we are sent don't mean that on the other side, it won't be a challenge, a lesson that can be manifested into a blessing. Sometimes a yes is still problems after it, right? Sometimes yes still comes with, oh yeah, but you got to pay $5,000 by tomorrow. Excuse me, what? Lord, where's this money coming from? I've had those moments too, where I've gotten a yes and I had another assignment that required more prayer. So if you're in a position where one yes meant more prayer, it's okay. The Father got it. He wants you to lean on Him. He wants you to realize that without Him, nothing is happening, or you ain't gonna get to where you could be, because He is what? Behind you. Don't you want the creator of the universe pushing you where you want to go? Or do you want yourself? How long you gonna be able to push yourself? I mean, there are mornings when we don't feel like getting up. So if we're relying on you or me or others, people will fail you too. Even with their best intentions, they can't be your everything. They're not everything. They need other people like you do. So you want to lean into something that won't fail, right? That won't grow weak and weary. I'm talking about that too. Y'all, if y'all know this verse, y'all know what's coming. Okay, so I'm in the process, right? Yes. So I'm working on a plate now and finding a location, conducting auditions, finding sponsors, and picking the right crew and team and all this good stuff. All this stuff is happening, right? Because it's all part of a larger picture. In your business, you're probably looking for clients, you're probably looking for people you can network with to maybe offset some of your business responsibilities, i.e., social media, website creation, figuring out your why statements. If you're writing a book, they're probably your editors, your ghostwriter, or people that are going to format your book, stuff like that. All of these people are part of the big picture, but the big picture is the what? To have a finished product or to have more sales. So in that case, In this case, it will be a finished play. And I'm gonna show y'all where I'm at in that journey here in a little bit. But this is where I wanted to get to a couple of seconds minutes ago too, is where is your confirmation coming from? If the Father said yes, right? He says, if I be for you, who can be against you? If I told you go, then that means I mean go. He is not confused. He is not second guessing. I had one of my clients, he's writing an incredible book. It's almost done. And I love having conversations with him. He's a pastor with an incredible story. And he was sharing how essentially the Father told him to go into a church and to speak with someone. When he did that, he was looking for a job and he was qualified. He went in there looking for a job, but when he went in there, they told him they weren't hiring. Have y'all ever got so something from the Father and when you were obedient to go and do it, they told you they didn't have whatever you were supposed to go in there and get. And now you're like, "Lord, you told me to go in there." But do you know this? The next day, they end up posting a job on their website. And when they posted the job, he called back and they was like, "Oh yeah, we would love to hire you." So the job he wanted to get, he went in a day early. They all knew him because of who he is and his father, but ultimately because they knew him already and they liked him when he came in, when the job was posted, he was merely already considered for the position. So some of you have to go into businesses early. Some of you will go into banks early. Some of you will go into publishing companies early. Some of y'all are going to publish your book and it may not sell a lot right now. Some of you are going to be in position for this big overflow or this big breakthrough. But if you're not already in the door, King David is a prime example. He came in there playing the harp. He was not coming in there to be a king. He was not trying to be a traitor. He wasn't trying to do none of those things. He was just trying to what? Play the harp because he was good at it. And he can help soothe the demons of King Saul. Make him feel good because he was stressing out. Rightfully so. He lost the presence of God. So he's panicking, seeing demons, having, you know what I'm saying, all kinds of stuff. And so he sent for a young man that could play the harp. Some of you are going to come into businesses because people are looking for something they feel is small, but the Father got plans to use it for your good, and it's going to become real big. I mean, King David took the seat of the king. Tell me that ain't big. He went all the way to some of y'all coming into these businesses in these low positions or these positions that people are not afraid of you, but they just don't know what you know. They just don't know what your God can do. And so when you get into these seats, don't allow it to make you sad or make you feel like it's a loss or it's a waste of time or anything like that, because the Father will use what all things for the good of those that love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. So if that's you, I pray it is, he has got something in store for you. So just let him find out, right? Where does your hope come from? You got to know where your source is. Where does your hope come from? Who are you believing? Who sent you? Right? So you're going to get a whole lot of no's and all this other stuff, bury the unsettled feeling in our guts if we are too weak, unfocused, or unmotivated to restore our strength to press on. When you stop seeing the necessity or having the power to move forward, right? When you get unmotivated or when you get unfocused, you have lost the connection and need more power. This is how you know you're losing a connection with your source. If your source is the reason you're here and the reason why you got where you got and where you got you like, then the question is, have you been consistent with the source that got you there? If your answer is no, that's going to be your problem. Okay. So you want to go back to the source of your strength. And if your source is not good, meaning it wasn't good to begin with, you got here out of survival. You got here on grace, right? Some of us are getting places on grace. When I was doing things wrong and stuff like that, I was living off grace. But see, grace, you do not want to grieve the Holy Spirit, right? You don't want to grieve God. You know what I'm saying? If he's telling you, hey, look, I'm going to bail you out this time, think about it this way. If you go to your mom and your parents and you're like, hey, look, man, I really messed up. I really need your help. I kind of fumbled my expenses this month. Can you spot me $200 to next week or next month? If you ain't doing this habitually, 9 out of 10, they'll tell you yes. But if you do it once, you do it 2 times, and you keep doing it every month, they're going to tell you no eventually. The Father will tell us, you know what? I'm gonna let them learn. I'm gonna let them what? Sit in it. It's not that they're telling you no because they don't love you, they don't like you, they don't believe in you. They're telling you no because they need you to what? Pass this lesson, because this lesson got you beat. So this is how you know when you have lost your connection or your connection is not strong enough to keep going where you're going. And if you're going upward, you're gonna have to what? Increase your power. When you got a little bitty socket and you're trying to plug a whole washing machine or a refrigerator in it, that sucker is not going to always do it. You gonna have to what? Expand the outlet to be able to accommodate you know what I'm saying? You got to accommodate what you're trying to plug up. And for some of y'all, y'all got big plans. The Father got big plans for you. So some people ain't gonna go. Some businesses ain't gonna make it. Some friendships ain't gonna make it. Some, you know what I'm saying? A lot of things may go. You need to remember who put you up to do this. When you were up at 4 a.m., 2 a.m., working nonstop to put, this kind of effort into where you're going and what you're sent to achieve, that fire can be resurrected, especially if it was put there by God. That means it's always been there. But the question is, how much stuff are you putting on top of the fire? You can smother a fire. So if you are smothering the fire, you need to take stuff off so you can what? Release the fire. Let the fire breathe. The fire got to breathe, or it will what? It will go out. So if your fire is so low, it's probably because other stuff is on top of it and it's smothering it. So you're gonna have to what? Go back to what you was told to do in the first place. It goes into sharpening your focus. You're unfocused because you need to what? Put it back on the table. You need to remove the distractions. You need to adjust your focus because you're not focused. And when you do that, you're going to start seeing what the Father sees in you. Isaiah 40:25 through 26 says this. So whom then will you compare me? Then I should be like him. The Father saying, who are you going to compare me to that I'm going to be like him? People might say, well, Lord, the bank told me no. Do you think I'm the banker? Well, Father, my mama said, so you compare me to your mama, who you just told me you feel is a bad example. You gonna compare me to them? You compare me to people who you don't even think are good when I tell you I am good, right? So the question is, who are we comparing the Holy One to, right? Then the Father says this. He says, lift up your eyes on high and see. Some of us are not lifting our eyes. We're looking straight and we're trying to make God right in front of us. And we're trying to make him this little bitty figure that we put in a box and we pull out when we really need him and we wish on it like a wishing well, or them 8 ball things that came out a long time ago and people would shake them, and I don't know. That's what we try to do with God. Lord, tell me yes or no. What if he says a sentence to you? Can you be sensitive enough to hear the sentence? Or are you only looking for yes and no answers when what he may want to tell you, he wants to give you more? What if he wants to give you more than you're asking or wanting, even demanding for some of us, right? But he's telling us to lift up our eyes on high and see who created these. He who brings out their hosts by number, calling them all by name. The word says too, he knows the stars names. Y'all know how many stars are born all the time? Like the concept, I wrote a book called Shooting Stars for children and everything. Book is amazing. Stars have an incredible journey, and they turn, like, some of them are millions of years old, some of them are new, some of them birth like a million little baby clusters and all kinds of stuff. And in our lives, the Father says he knows all of the people on the earth. There ain't nobody on earth he don't know your name. He don't know the hairs on your head. He don't know the tears you've cried. He don't understand the frustrations you feel, no matter how much money you got, no matter how broke you feel, no matter where you may sit, jail, freedom, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? He knows all of us, and he knows all of us by name. Right? He says, by the greatness of his might, and because he is strong in power, no one is missing. The Father has made what? Accountable. He has taken account of all of us. So ain't none of us out here just lost. You know what I'm saying? Like, he can't find you. No matter where you're at right now, he can find you. And better yet, he can show you where you need to put your eyes, because your eyes are probably set too low. If we are focusing on our problems, that's too low, because he's not the problem. He's the what? Solution. So if you want the solution, you're gonna have to look past your problem, or through your situation to what the actual answer or the solutions are. Some people don't want solutions though. Some people just want to cry. I hate to say it. Some people are like the guy sitting on the mat, you know what I'm saying, that could walk but didn't want to walk because he didn't want to leave his other people, he didn't want to leave his atmosphere. If you are in a position, I love what Pastor Stephen preached today. It was amazing. And some of us are stuck in environments that are completely unprofitable, it doesn't lead us nowhere we need to be. But for some reason, we feel more indebted to these people than we do God. I want to challenge you. Do you want to be made whole? That's what the Messiah said. I'm going to say the same thing. Do you want to fix your business? Do you want to fix your marriage? Do you want to fix your relationship with your children? Do you want to fix your relationship with yourself? Do you want a relationship with Yah, with God Almighty? Do you want that? Do you want the word to become the foundation of your life? Do you want salvation? Do you want to be saved? Salvation is an incredible gift, but do you understand the value of it? The value is his ways are higher. So when life falls apart, life ain't just money. I know people might say, well, I want to believe in God because I want him to change my financial picture. That's a piece. That's a piece. But there's so much more. If you don't have peace, if you don't have a stable mind, if your mind is drifting, if your emotions are all over the place, if you are always angry and you don't know how to calm yourself down, you go into therapy for this and it's still really not working. I mean, it might help you count down from 10, but if you're really honest, the root of why you're getting angry is still there, which means you need a divine healing. You need deliverance, which is bigger than coping mechanisms. A lot of us, our body is trained to survive. It will survive. It might survive kind of crazy, but survival is okay for a time. But then you want to get to a point where what? You're being restored, you're being redeemed. This is what the first book is about. You know what I'm saying? The seven gates to find and overcome heartbreak, because stuff in your life breaks you, whether it's something somebody said, something somebody did, something they didn't fulfill, or we can be mad at God, we can be mad at anybody or anything. And so you want to figure out what is causing you to look in a different direction. I said earlier, you need to be able to relax, right? And the way you relax is you trust God, you trust God. Right? You trust in the power of the word. Okay. So to get further in God, you have to lose the excuses. The first thing you got to do is lose excuses. The moment, if you keep excuses, you will never get to where you could be, because you will always have an excuse for why you didn't get there. And an excuse is a plan of the enemy to keep you distracted so you don't actually work on anything. Have you seen people that say, "Oh, you know what? I'm going to start my business. I just can't do it today because it is." And then a month later, you're like, "Oh, hey, how's it going? I know you didn't start your business that week. Did you start?" "Oh, no, something else happened." It's always going to be like that. If you're waiting for the perfect non-stormy day, that day may never come. And even if it's not a storm, you will create one. Have you ever met people like that? Where their day is normal. And when the day is normal, they create a storm because they're used to what? The environment of chaos. So when it's not a storm, they don't use that time to do something to relax. They use that time to go find another storm that ain't even their storm. When the Father slows your life down, it's for you. Other people will say, "Oh, you ain't doing nothing on that day. You can come help me move my furniture." No, I cannot. I work 6 days out of the week. This is my seventh day. This is the only day out of the week that I rest. So I'm going to rest. I'm going to do what I need to do. I'm going to spend this time to work, to pray, to study, to read, to sit and watch TV, whatever it is you feel like you need to do. And it's okay. People will always have something for you to do, and fill your time with whatever they feel is important. Why wasn't it more important for them to move 3 days earlier? Why wait until the day where they knew they had to go? You see what I'm saying? So people's lack of preparation should not be how you have to function in your life, where you're constantly mending everybody else. They're gonna have to learn how to mend their own self. They're gonna have to learn how to work out their own soul salvation. What that means, they're gonna have to learn how to control their own mind, will, and emotions. It's not up to you, it's up to them. They're not your children. And I mean like babies. I ain't talking about grown folks as your children, because they're gonna have to do the same thing. They're gonna have to what? Grow up. They're gonna have to mature. They're gonna have to become accountable. You cannot do it forever, and I wouldn't recommend it. You can, you try, but why? They're never going to learn if you keep doing it for them. So you got to let them, you got to relax and let the Father what? Teach them how to do it like he taught you. They're going to be all right. So yeah, don't burn candles at all, all ends. Both your ends and other people's ends. No, no. You got to take time for yourself. You need self-healing, and take a drink of water, relax, and then get back at it, because when you relax, you perform better. When you are in a high stress environment, yes, you could do some survival techniques, but you don't want to operate your whole life like that, because that causes strokes, that causes physical ailments. Stress is a killer. Like, I know people might not think that. They might say, "Oh, it was just hereditary." No, it was hereditary for them not to have balance. So now that balance morphs into a medical condition. Let's work to do better. Eating terribly because we don't have discipline not to eat fried foods or whatever we know we ain't supposed to. Fill in the gaps. That's why you have the diabetes. That's why you have high blood pressure. That's why you have, what I'm saying? It's not that we don't know. It's just we got to be this. We got to do the work. We got to see the value on the other side. Isaiah 40:25 through 26 says this: "To whom then will you compare me that I should be like him?" Says, oh, no, I read this one. We can skip this one. My bad, y'all. Uh, we're on 27. The testimony, nothing is missing. I mentioned this earlier. For the sake of time, I won't mention it again. But ultimately, The enemy can give you something that looks like what you pray for, but don't be so quick to trust that it is not a decoy. I tested several locations, and to figure out what might be best for the play I'm working on, y'all, for the youth, coming out in November, and I might be doing a second one in December, so I'm excited about that. Um, but I've been praying about getting more into production over the last few years. I mean, many of you probably know me, know that to be true. I've worked in media for like 20 years, from film, television, acting, stuff like that. And now it's on my heart to do more, even to the point where I want to do a feature film and get into more stuff. But I realize, what I needed. And I pray about everything. So I'm like, Lord, if you want me to do this, send me the cameras, send me this, send me the crew, send me whatever it is I need. And I kid you not, he pops them all up. And it ain't taking long. This is how you know, too, you're in the Father's ear and you're in his heart. Because when you pray for something, you might not get a yes, but you will get an answer, and I get my answers in days. So if there are things that you're praying about and you may feel like, Lord, I don't hear you, get around people that do have a prayer life that works, because that will help you when it'll help carry you when you need the help. And that way you can build your spiritual muscle to be able to pray for yourself. Yes, I highly encourage that. All right. So then we're going to get to the next one, which is he is all knowing, full of understanding, and brings safety and strength to his children. One of the things we got to remember is we don't know everything, right? We don't know going up the street. We don't know about car. When we don't know people's mindsets, we don't know what's going on in people's lives. But there is one who knows all things. And through the Holy Spirit, we can know all things because he will give us what? Direction. The question is, are you sensitive to the Holy Spirit? Because when you're sensitive, you can avoid a lot of mistakes in business, life, etc. I know people in the 9/11 attacks, many of them gave their testimony and said how they heard, don't go to work that way, or don't go to work today, or all kinds of things. And they heard that in their minds, in their hearts, from God, some said. So if this is what they were operating on, imagine if they ignored it. Imagine if you ignore it. What could it cost you? The question is, how many of us even know? We really don't know, right? But Isaiah 40:27-28 says this: Why do you say, O Jacob, and speak, O Israel, my way is hidden from the Lord, and my right is disregarded by my God? Have you not known? Have you not heard? The Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth. He does not faint or grow weary. This is Yahweh is not a God that gets tired. Tired of you, tired of whatever, you know what I'm saying? He is a all loving God. You know what I'm saying? He is able to do what we cannot do and maybe even won't do. He is understanding, his understanding is unsearchable. I love that because some people might say, "Oh, well, you know what? You just don't understand what I'm going through." Oh, we serve. If you serve the Almighty, you got a God that does. I mean, He sent His Son on earth to walk like you, go through hell like you, deal with disgruntled people like you, people who don't like Him and never even known Him, don't even talk to Him, but just don't like Him. You ever had that problem? Where people just don't like you and they don't know nothing about you, but they've already judged you, said what they had to say, and it wasn't the greatest, right? It wasn't even nice. So this is a friendly reminder. In case you need to know, he understands. I love that song by Help Me Lord. He's in my phone. Goodness. But the name of the song is He Understands. Very I'm gonna find that song. I'm gonna put it in a post, y'all. So if y'all watching this live, I'm gonna put it on a post so you'll know who it is, or it'll come to me, one of the two. But anyway, the one who sent you on this quest is able to keep you. You need to know he can do it. He understands your trials, your struggles, your tiredness, and your desire to get through this. He comforts us to tell us this too shall pass. Y'all heard that scripture? If not, it won't last forever, y'all. I mean, going through these late nights and all kinds of craziness won't last forever. Eventually, you'll afford a team. Eventually, you'll get the right staff. Eventually, your children will mature and start growing up and taking on more responsibility and accountability. You know what I'm saying? So, allow people to mature and to grow because it will. Be a great thing. No matter what it looks like, don't let the challenge be the reason you give up. It can be the reason the Father does a new thing, though, right? If some people are not turning around and not doing right, don't give up because that might mean that person ain't meant to go, right? Remember, lesson, reason, season, lifetime. Some of these people are not lifers. So when they start acting up and ain't gonna get right, and that's okay. The Father turns his face to people. So And these are sinners, by the way. These are people that live in iniquity. These are people who want to sin, will keep on sinning, see nothing wrong with sinning, and don't want to change. That's not his children. Okay. So the promises he gives is for his children. So you want to get in lockstep with the Father as your Father so you can inherit these blessings that come with him. It's not about money and trinkets and stuff, although it can happen, although it often does, because he wants to see you prosper. That's in the word. But he also wants you to have peace and know how to what? Get your mind, your emotions, and your mental in order. Thank you, Bruce. I appreciate that. So we are not all. And another thing too is, like I told you, sometimes you can get somewhere early, and you will be considered early because we're not all obedient to the voice of God, and that won't change His plans for you and what He wants to do. It will simply change who He uses to bring the plans through, right? So some of us may feel like, oh my goodness, my husband wasn't my husband, or my wife wasn't my wife, or my boss fired me, or this happened. That's okay. They just might not be the continual vessel for how the Father wants to bless you. So don't let it, you know what I'm saying, destroy you or make you feel no kind of way. They were in your life for a reason, season, lesson, or a lifetime. And that's where it's at. So, lastly, I want to bring you to the final check in. And it says, He will not allow you to fail, but you will win. I think y'all need to hear that again. You will win. Now I think you're gonna win. Now I hope you win. I know some of us we got to hear that affirming voice, right? And the affirming voice says you will win. The power in trusting God. When you are able to trust Yah, He will give you the power you need to make decisions and receive blessings you didn't and couldn't work for. Some of us may say, "Oh, you know what? I just got to work harder." Sometimes you just need favor because what working for would take you a lifetime, and you don't got that. You already been living half your life or more, so you don't got a lifetime. You need an acceleration. So you may spend lots of time studying, researching, and practicing, but on game day you will achieve your goal. So there's something too that is going to come out in the verses ultimately, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit more too. Is in order to really get yourself into position, you will have to study. The Bible says, study to show yourself approved. Marketing is a whole industry built on data research. So they're looking at the numbers, they're studying people, studying answers, results, sales to help you figure out how to sell your stuff or do whatever it is you're trying to do. If you're wanting to be a successful athlete, you got to practice all the time. You don't practice a few times and go out there and think you're gonna ball out of control. It ain't gonna happen. You're probably gonna pull a hamstring instead. You're probably gonna walk away with a limp. You're probably gonna be in pain the next day because you work muscles you ain't been working. And that's true in business. When you go out here and you start trying to operate on levels you ain't been practicing, you haven't worked on, you haven't researched, you can come out here and get slapped up legally. You can come out here and get beat down by potential clients who ask you questions you don't got answers to because you never took the time to think about them. So these are things that if you don't do the work, then you'll find yourself having to deal with the fallout because you didn't, right? But I want to encourage you, don't give up when you're going to school. Don't give up when you're practicing. Don't give up when you fail. Don't give up when people ask you questions you can't answer, because these are the things that help you to what? Better your product, better your service, better your life, better your, intentions to find the right wife or husband. The mistakes can also help you, and they also help you to finish what you're trying to do. If you're editing your book, don't stop. If you've been writing and you're rewriting, it's okay. But you do need to get to a point where you finish what you start. Okay. The Father says He will finish what He starts in you. That means one day it's going to be all done. Don't wait till forever to try to be done. They say the richest place on earth is the grave because people died with stuff that they really should have just released and allow it to be better, or allow them to go to people that can help them finish and put the icing on the cake. Go ahead and do that. That's what these people are out here. That's why they got businesses. So don't be afraid to invest in what you believe in and you want to accomplish. Another one, keep on the process and trust Him. As we wait on the Lord to open doors, He will come out at the right time. He will have the help. We will have the help that we need and the power to break forth. I know that many of you know about the eagle that is talked about in Isaiah verses 29 to 31. If you don't know, I want to show you some incredible things about an eagle, because an eagle is a really phenomenal bird. I mean, it's powerful, it's fast, it is it is a dynamic bird. I mean, like it's one of the bird. That's why it's the American eagle and everything, because it has power. It has a lot of semblance and resilience. It is one of the most intelligent birds there is. But anyway, it says he gives power to the faint. If you feel like you are again unfocused, unmotivated, you want to quit, you want to. I hate to even say this, but for some of you, if you feel like you want to die, you don't want to be here no more. You want the Father to cancel all His plans for you because you're ready to check out. I want you to come right here. He gives power to the faint. It's not uncommon to be where you are. Everybody gets to a point where they want to quit. Everybody says, you know what, Lord, I'm done. I don't care what none of these people do. And if you're there, it's okay. And to him who has no might, he increases your strength. Verse 30, even youth, even young people shall faint and be weary. People say, you too young to be tired. No, they can be tired. They can be over it. They can be all the way over it. It's okay. You're not too young to be weak and weary or to be faint. And young men shall fall exhausted. Not only did they get tired, these some of these people just fell out. They just checked out. How many of y'all know some brothers and sisters that checked out? That honestly they just living, they're existing, they're not living because they're not pursuing anything, they're just doing the day to day. And so if that's them, encouragement. But they who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength. They need to switch what they're waiting on. Some people are waiting for something, something they feel is big. But when we show you what you're really waiting on, that will give you the power, that will give you the strength, that will remotivate your life, that will re-jumpstart you and get you in the right order. People will say, oh no, that's too simple. I don't want to believe in religion. This is not about religion. If you heard religion, you have heard completely wrong. Um, religion kills. Religion is not what you need. What you need is a relationship with the word. That is how you are going to change your mind, change your will, and change what you are hoping for and bring your emotions under control. You need a living word with power. You don't need a form of godliness that has no power. That's what a lot of these people out here are doing. They're giving you empty words that have no power. So when you try to put them on your life, all you get is more confused, more overwhelmed, more tired, more over it because this stuff don't work. So if that's what you're tired of, I want to show you a better way, right? It says, but they who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. I'm going to tell y'all more about eagles. They shall run and not be weary. That means you about to run out this thing. Some of us are walking, some of us ain't even walking, some of us are sitting. The Father will give you enough strength to run out of weary places, to run out of environments, to take you out of hell, to take you out of depression, to take you out of places where you've been stagnant for years, decades, marriages that are totally wrong, never was right. You know what I'm saying? Situations that are completely abysmal. They don't do what they should do. You know what I'm saying? But when you feel like you don't got nothing else, you may feel like this is better than going on my own or even trusting Yah, trusting the word that told you greater works are you able to do because of what he did and sitting at the you're not there yet. If you're still like not believing that the word can do what it says it can do, he says, taste me. That means try me and know that I am good. Try what I'm telling you and see that it don't work. If it don't work, cool. But if it works, then what are you going to do? Are you going to now believe all my words or still keep yours over mine? And now we're, what I'm saying, conundrum. Anyway, it says, they shall walk and not faint. This is the power. This is the power you need to get your business on point. This is the power you need to regulate families. This is the power you need to regulate your heart, to regulate your emotions, to regulate your mind, to regulate your will, right? That's what you need. You need to understand that the Father will give you power, like how an eagle has power. He will give you insight. Do you know that an eagle can fly 2 to 3 miles up into the sky and see down on the ground to kill its prey? How many of you know you need to have eagle eye vision on what you're wanting to accomplish? You need to be far off sometimes to see where you're going. This eagle is so intelligent, so incredible. It can see a mouse's whiskers move from 2 miles in the sky. How many of us can see a mile ahead of us? This bird can see 2 miles on the ground. That's insane. It's insane. It's better than a phone. It can see that far without technology. And some of us can't see into our tomorrow. Some of us can't see in the next year. Some of us don't want to. I want to encourage you. The Father can change your tomorrow, your next week, your next year, and He can give you your latter days being better than your former days. It's not too late. You're not too old. You're not too nothing. You know what I'm saying? Fill in the two. I'm too big. I'm too fat. I'm too young. I'm too dumb. I'm too. It's a lot of twos, right? Don't worry about that, right? The Father eagle. This is what I love too. This is about birds too, y'all. I found this out when I was writing a book too. But it says that the father eagle, in order for him to get married and to be picked up by a wife, you know what she does? She flies straight into the sky, goes as high as she wants to go, and she drops a twig. And the male bird has to find the twig. If he doesn't find the twig, she is not interested. I want to let you ladies know you need to raise your standards higher because your standards are so low, anybody can reach them. And when they reach them, you are very disappointed because they haven't proved nothing. Right. And I would say the same thing for men. You need to raise your standards. You need to pick a wife that you want. You need to pick a lifestyle you want. You need to pick people that are conducive for helping you to get there. Stop picking these people that are decoys. They look good on the outside. They sound good when they talk, but when you start walking with them, you like, what is this? This is not what I thought this was gonna be. So if this male bird do not find this twig, the wife don't want them. And you want to know why she don't want them? Because when their baby birds are born into eagles, they mate for life. But ultimately, when they have their babies, the mother drops them off her wings. When she drops them off her wings, the daddy has to go and what, catch the bird if the bird don't fly before it hits the ground, or the bird will die because it hit the ground and it couldn't fly. But if you had a weak daddy, or a weak minded person, or a weak minded individual that was not paying attention, because you got to be paying attention to see a twig fall from the sky. You got to be locked in. Some of us ain't locked in. It's not that we can't fly. It's not that we can't do it. We already know they can. But the question is, are they focused enough to do it? Sometimes we're so focused on everything else, we miss our families. We miss God. We miss our purpose. We miss life. We miss what's really important because we're chasing everything but what's important. So we don't ever get children, or we never raise them right, or we don't have time for this and that. And these are things we say we really love and want. And then when we get older, we're like, Lord, I missed it. Some things you can miss. Some things can be the biggest mistake you will ever make, and it can cost you everything. I wrote a book on that. That's the title. But I wrote it because I want to show you what you can do. You can make big mistakes and the Father can redeem you. But it don't mean that some of your mistakes may not cost you a whole lot. Some of them cost you everything. Cheating on your wife, you're cheating on your taxes, cheating on stuff. It could cost you everything. It could cost you your business, cost your marriage, cost your children, cost you so many relationships and stuff. And sometimes it's not that it's impossible, because all things are possible with the Father. But the road ahead could be a real road ahead, right? So you want to trust the process and allow the Father to restore your strength, to give you direction, to protect you. Take His word as your foundation, because that will allow you to have safety. Okay, there is safety in walking with the Father. But lastly, I'm going to give you some action steps on how you can implement this powerful message, I believe, in your daily walk in the month of June. And this goes like this. I want to tell you, first thing, stop worrying. But don't mistake action or slow growth for an example of failure. Sometimes when we feel like we're making mistakes, or our actions are slow to grow, that we are failing. You're not, you're learning. So allow yourself to learn. Don't beat yourself up. Don't quit before you keep going. Don't lose sight of what the Father has for you because you may feel like it's taking too long. Have a little bit more patience. He got you, right? If the first step is too large, break it down into smaller bites and take it a day at a time. Okay. Identify how you need His divine presence to bring safety and pull you from surviving to thriving. Okay. Survival mode is cool, but you don't want to stay in survival mode. You eventually got to get to thriving. And to get to thriving, you need to become disciplined, accountable, responsible, and and consistent. You gotta be. So pray for what you need. If you need help to do it, if you need a coach to do it, you need to get a pastor, you need to get a spouse. A good helpmeet is good. The Bible says, a man who findeth a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. So if you need it, pray for it. He got you, right? But you got to be willing to do the work to align with what He may want to send. Okay. So if you feel you are unmotivated or don't have the same fire to keep going, remember your why. Okay. Remember your purpose and consider if you are overthinking. Sometimes you are overthinking and your book will never be done. Sometimes you're overthinking and you'll never finish the business plan. Sometimes you're overthinking and you just need to have somebody else finish your thinking, meaning complete your thoughts, write them down and organize them for you. It's okay. Do what you got to do. Don't talk yourself out of your purpose because you think it is too small or too difficult. If you cannot do your book on your own, it is okay. It's not a defeat. It just means you need to pray for the right people, the right team to get you where you need to go. Okay. Next, growth is a marathon, not a sprint. It doesn't happen overnight. So don't expect everything to be overnight and overnight sensations. Overnight sensations were working a long time before that, but they got discovered. And when they got discovered, people saw all of their hard work at one time. So keep doing the work because eventually it will be seen. Consider your circle and the people around you. You have not because you asked not. I asked for a space. I asked for cameras. I asked for a business that can help an author all the way through their process, that can help them build businesses. I asked for the Father to show me how to be a better consultant, how to be able to add more services, because I saw where people were, where I was taking them to, but where they couldn't go further. So sometimes what you may have thought was the end, I thought being a publisher was all the Father wanted me to do. And, my consultant background kind of like merged into my publishing company. But then I realized people still needed new business services because a lot of these authors didn't know how to run businesses. And of course, I can still build websites and do social media and all these other things. And any business needs business cards, a website, social media, CRM, understanding sales, marketing, mission, vision statements. So then I had to create a department that will do that. Right. I believe firmly in positive networking. And then, of course, I got to production, which was my old school baby. And I was like, Lord, I love production, but I didn't see how it was going to fit. But now I know how to, screenwrite. I know how to make things into plays, into movies, into books, and publish them all and distribute them all, protect you, through those areas so that no one can steal your stuff, which I felt was important, which is the business concierge. So all of my departments with Kaylee Services all go into each other, and you're going to find that to be true for you too. So if you're looking for how to work all these things together in your business, you're going to find that too. Okay. You have not because you ask not. Where you might have gotten a no from others, you can get a yes somewhere else, or in due season from the person that told you no. You can go into a bank today and they say no, and in 6 months they're calling you because you did something that got you on their radar. So don't worry if you hear no's. They can still be turned around for a yes, or the right person will tell you a yes in due season. So keep believing and keep working. Don't get discouraged because people are not ready for all that you bring. Okay. um that is essentially the bulk of the message for the conversation check-in. I want to remind you, if you want to build your collection with the Embrace Your Crown series, you can go to embraceyourcrown.com, and ultimately when you go there, it will have all of the books that you see there. Feel free to grab the ones that make sense. I've talked about the three for the Embrace Your Crown series, two that are listed. If you want to write and publish your own book, we do work with Write Anything Easily. It teaches you how to write, edit, put your book together, write it, and then how to get it on distribution platforms to reach 44,000 outlets around the world, including Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, and etc. I encourage you to pick up that book to learn more about it and to even connect with Way Process if you want. Myself or my team to help you through using this book, because it is a vital tool, then I want you to go to wae process.com, and then we'll be able to help you check in there. Next, if you want to start your own business or better your business. So let's say you started your business, but maybe you could start it right or make it improvements to add AI or automation like CRMs, and understanding how to integrate this into your business to make it easier, then I want to encourage you to check out Turnkey Solutions. It's KLE turnkey.com. And when you go there, you can scan the QR code also to the left. It will show you ultimately how you can essentially do quite a bit with your business. So no matter where you are, we can help you get it online, get it on point, get your marketing, your mission, vision, business plan, all that stuff together so it will flow and make sense. So if you need that kind of help, feel free to grab that book. And again, if you need some help with implementing it all, you can do that. Now, as far as subscription is concerned, I know some people may want to subscribe or support, what we're doing. If you would like to do that, you can subscribe for $26 a month. The first 3 months you're subscribed, you will get each of the books for the Embrace Your Crown series. So you'll get them in the subsequent orders that you see left to right. Each month you are active. So if you want to do that, you can. If you do join at 127, you'll get a book and it will allow you to take our mentoring course or my mentoring course, where I will step you through how to use these books essentially and implement it into your life. And of course, you will get extra access to this monthly meeting where we send updates throughout the month just to keep you encouraged and keep you on point for implementing what I'm teaching today. So if you want to make sure you are being like on it and implementing what I'm showing you, definitely. I encourage you to get on that. Okay. A quick note to those that help make this show possible. It's Crystal Lee Enterprises. I'll put the QR code to the left. This business here, again, has the four departments you see. So it's publishing, it's new business, and services for your company. So if you need help with that, everything you can think of is pretty much how they can help. Production services. So we help you make films, plays, theater projects, all kinds of stuff. So if you're needing a script and to produce, feel free to go to the website, Kelly. CrystalLeeEnterprises.com is where you can go, as well as coaching and consulting. So if you're in a place where you just need somebody to come alongside you, help you see what you're going through or need to do, then you can start in the coaching consultant phase and we'll help point you in the right direction. Shay Nailed It is a local nail salon in Indianapolis, Indiana. We would like to thank her for her support and commitment to support what we're doing here with First Sundays. So thank you. And of course, if you want to be a sponsor of the show, then I encourage you to go to embraceyourcrown.com. When you go there, you are able to sponsor if you would like to be included in this meetup and be mentioned. You can do that. On July 6th, which is when we are coming back again, I am going to be talking about I ain't never scared, I am prepared. So if you don't want to be scared or be scary, then you need to get prepared. And I'm going to show you how to do that with your business, life, etc. You know how we do. So I anticipate you coming to join us then. So before I let you go, I am going to uh, just you bless everyone on this call, that you show them how incredible and amazing that you are. You are the king, you are Alpha, you are Omega, you are the first and the last. You are incredible. And I trust the plans you have for our lives. And I trust that you're going to bless them on today, their families, their businesses, their lives, and even their purpose. Thank you for allowing them to live on purpose, to hang out with me this past 90 minutes. I don't take it lightly because they could be doing anything and everything, but I thank you, Father, for them wanting to spend this time with me and importantly, you. May they be encouraged. May they be blessed. May they have whatever and everything that they need to move their lives forward. It's in the precious name of Yeshua, Jesus the Christ, that I submit all my prayers and my thoughts and my ideals for other people. Father, we thank you that you are faithful, that you are concerned about us. You said, for we can cast our burdens on you because you care about us. So, Father, I just thank you for being able to do that today. And I trust greater works, greater things. I thank you for the testimonies that will come from this monthly meetup group. I thank you for the posts and the comments that will come forth from this as well. And I just pray that everyone is able to be empowered on today and throughout this month. Until I see you guys again next month on July 6th, may you all have a blessed and incredible Sunday. And with that, I'm going to leave you with a lasting video, about a minute, and I will see you guys next month. Bye bye for now. I'm excited that we are going to be releasing a new mentor program for Embrace Your Crown featuring all three books. So, if you've been wanting to grow this year and just honestly achieve some things you've been believing for, praying for, maybe you haven't been praying, but you just know that there are some things you need to do, you want to do, and you could use someone to kind of nudge you and help, just keep you encouraged. And then also give you some, helpful, tips as you kind of, go through this process in your life. So if I can be a part of that, I would love to. I'm Dr. Crystal Lee. I am an author, published author, minister, and chaplain, and I would love to be there with you. So if I can do that for you, be there with you, let me know, and I look forward to seeing you in my mentor program. You can go to embraceyourcrown.com, and you can essentially enroll into my Embrace Your Crown mentor program. So if you would like to join, please go to my website, embraceyourcrown.com.